going to start Project Elanore. Now, first thing we want to look at is how many rivets do we have. Got one. There's none up front. So usually on a car, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, if you've got just one rivet on the front, on the car, the other end is hinged. And you see you got the chrome plate here, comes up, and actually tucks up underneath, and this is your hinge point. So to get it loose, we're going to have to pop that rivet. Now, you can drill the rivet out right away, but if you notice, it's got a nice little hole. That nice little hole serves as what we call a pilot hole. Okay, so if we go ahead and drill that pilot hole out first, down inside, and use that hole to guide our number 50 drill bit, and go in there about approximately a 1/4 inch, then they'll leave that hole a little bit bigger and all the way down, and it'll guide us when we go to drill the rivet out. And it'll keep it centered, so that way we don't have to worry about going off center. And what I mean by off center is, say this is our post here, and your drill bit's going up there without the pilot hole. You could easily go up in there like this at an angle. So then if you go up in there at an angle, your screw's going to go up in at an angle, and you're going to tear out your post. You don't want to do that. So right off the bat, the first thing we're going to do is to put our number 50 drill bit in there just like this, and we're going to drill in there. Got the old Dremel tool here, already set up with the number 50 drill bit. I'm going to dial the speed down to about 1,000 Rs. A high-speed drill bit, but it gets hot. We don't want it to get hot. And we're going to go ahead and dip the tip of our drill bit in the wax. And let's see if you can see the blob of wax. See it on there on the end? I'm just going to use that as a lubricant. I got to pull out the garbage can here so the shavings fall down in there, because if I don't, and the dogs step on it, then the wife talks to me about it. We don't want nothing like that up in their paws. Normally I hold this down a lot lower. And you can see here we're right there in the center of the hole. Let's see if we can get this at a good angle. And we'll switch on the Dremel tool. And the Dremel tool didn't turn on. There we go. That was odd. So anyhow, we're up in the hole, and we're going to go ahead and start our drilling. I kind of got to hold it a little bit at a different angle, probably down on the palm of my hand. Don't really have the pressure, the strength to put pressure on it with my finger today. And we go up in there, trying to keep it nice and perpendicular in both directions. Now, you can put guides on here, which is really cool, you know, trim a pin, something like that. I kind of eyeball it, line it up to the end of my finger, see how far up in there we are. Just shy of a 1/4 inch. So we're going to go ahead and fire it up. Get it back on the palm so I can put some pressure. And check the depth on it again. Yeah, we're pretty close to a 1/4 inch. We'll go just a little bit more. Oh, there, I think that was a 1/4 inch at that last, yeah, there we go, see? That's definitely a 1/4 inch. Okay, so now that's in there. The Dremel tool's not really ideal for this. And you can see why. It gets the car pretty hot. And this is a heat to mold cast, or or not cast, splint. And so it actually gets the car hot enough that it'll melt that. But I don't have the money yet for a nice little variable speed drill. And normally it's not a problem because I don't have that on my hand. And while we got a nice little hole to start with, we're going to take our tap and we're going to put it in the wax there. You can see we got a little bit of wax on the end. And you're going to put it up in the hole, and you're going to hold it perpendicular, and you're going to turn it slowly to get it started. And once you get it started, you go ahead and just start threading it up in there. When you feel a little bit of a bind, like right there, just back it off. It's called back cutting. What back cutting does is it just goes ahead and cuts the threads that you're cutting completely off, so they go up the flutes of your tap. Because you don't want to put a whole lot of torque on these little taps, because you'll snap them right off. You snap them right off, and that's the end of your project car, unless you want to turn it into a junkyard special or something to that effect. But Elanore's no junkyard baby. She's high speed. And just keep backing it off. And go back up in there. Back it off and go back up in there, and once you finally, you'll feel it bottom out. Once it bottoms out, don't over torque it, then run your tap all the way out, and you can go ahead and set your car down. Now if you notice let's see if you can see it there, see the flute where it's square and get that hole like that slot like going up the shaft, and then you've got all that stuff built up on there right there. We're going to go ahead and you take a little screwdriver or something like that, and you're going to clean your tap out and clean it out, and then just kind of drag it off. And now when you look at it, you've got all your flutes are nice and clean, and then you just run it up in here one last time to clean out any loose shavings. And back it back off, because you don't want any loose shavings getting on the threads of your screws. Not really a high torque situation, so it probably wouldn't even affect it, but you know, better safe than sorry. Oops, almost knocked the camera over. Doing really good here, aren't I? I'm putting the wax back. Got some wax on my thumb, trying to catch that camera. And then we're going to take our drill bit, 5/32, and we're going to line it up right inside that hole there, see it? And you're just going to go ahead and drill it. Now, normally I drill on, holding it with my finger because some strong hands, but I'm going to flip it over today and line her up. This is just a little low speed, high torque, rechargeable drill. See if we can turn it a little bit more. And just watch the shavings come out. And sometimes if you get lucky, the whole ring of the rivet head will pop right off, sometimes not. You just watch to make sure you don't see plastic coming through. Make sure the shavings you see there are steel. And we'll go ahead and stop and take a look at it. Like I said, this is low speed. And you can see there it's got a still got a bevel, but our hole's guiding us in. That's what we want. Keep drilling away. We're almost there. Show you what it looks like when we're completely there. Alright, that should do it. And we didn't get no ring this time. It happens. And it should go ahead and pop loose. You can see there where we're just starting to catch the plastic. That's more than enough to stop. You take your screwdriver and try to get up underneath. Man, these are some big wheels. And get way up in there like that with the screwdriver and pop the frame, the chassis loose. You can come in here in the back once you got her going and get it going. Okay, so now it's coming loose. Like I said, it should hinge from the front. And when they hinge like this, you want to be gentle. You don't want to try to force the front off. Sometimes you can get better luck upside down. And you gotta sweet talk it. Come on, baby. Come on, Elanore. We gotta make you look pretty. Get you ready for the show. And Elanore doesn't want to play. This is hard to do without the index finger. Sometimes if you wiggle a little of it, she'll come out. And boom! There she comes. There's your hinge point. You can see there where that part right here was hinged into the front of the car. And you can see now the chrome piece is missing. The body will drop, the interior will drop out. It's got a pretty cool interior with those speakers and everything. We got a lot of little things we can detail on this. And the windshield's in fairly decent shape. The windshield pops loose. And out comes the windshield. Go ahead and set that off to the side. I'm just trying to get the last of that plastic off from the, or whatever this thing is. Well, it'll come off anyhow. And then you got the body. We're not going to modify much on this car. I'm going to do a lot of painting and detailing. So went to Home Depot, got some stripper. This is the stripper bottle. Just an old Tostitos cheese dip. And you go ahead and just drop her down in there. Give it a little swirly, and we wait about 15 minutes or so. You want to get water soluble stripper. That way when you go to stainless steel sink or to your washroom sink, like where the washer and dryer are, and you turn that water on and you brush everything clean, all you really need is like a toothbrush, an old one. Or if your kids, probably the ones you aren't using. And you just brush that thing clean under water. Since safety is of concern, you want to wear gloves. Get these at Harbor Freight, a box of 100 of these bad boys. Ta-da! 100 of them. 8 cents a piece. You can't go wrong. You protect your hands. You don't burn yourself with chemical burns. That's nothing fun. You can see here, if you haven't seen this stuff before, the axle's held in here. Let's see how close we can get this camera, and if we can get the lighting right, by 3 little tabs. 1, 2, 3. If we were going to take these axles out, you can cut those tabs out using little mini dike like this, diagonal cutters. Dike's its nickname, short diagonal cutters. And you cut them out and take the axle out. For the level of detail we're going to do on this bad boy, I'm debating on whether to take them out, because what I want to do is, since these are hollow rims, and what I mean by hollow is it can go right on through the rim like that. See, I'm thinking I want to paint the inside of these rims, and if I can paint the inside of these rims, It'll give a really nice depth to the wheel. And then I want to darken out behind the wheels anyhow with chrome, where the chrome piece is, and darken it out black so it looks like a regular fender well. So I think we might go ahead and cut the wheels out, because it makes the wheels a lot easier to paint and makes the chassis a lot easier to paint. So go ahead and you get your diagonal cutters on there. This hand is really holding me up here, and I don't know if I can bring it over here just right, but you'll see them, and you just cut those tabs out. Don't be afraid, because 90% of the time the only thing holding the body will hold the interior will hold it in. As you can see here, front's designed to hold those in, but we're going to go ahead and probably JB weld those bad boys back into place anyhow. And we're going to cut the rear wheels loose. That tab's fighting us. Alright. Come on. There we go. And then you got to cut the back too. Oh, no, it came out with just the front one. And again, you can see the hollow rims. We're going to paint them bad boys all the way through. Deck them up. And then we're going to paint this part of the car here so that the fender wells are black. And here, and the same on the opposite side. This is the chrome piece, so we're going to leave that chrome. And then you have to look at how that fits the body, but we'll go over. This may end up being painted black, it may not. We'll have to check and see afterwards. Now, this is a little trick I do, because you know, when you're waiting 15-20 minutes or more for the stripper to do its little trick, you may be working on more than one project. So you just get yourself a little Ziploc and drop all your components in here until you're focusing on that car. That way you're not losing components and going, oh, crikeys, or other words that we don't want to say, so we get net nanny band into your Ziploc. That way, this is the rest of the Mustang. The only piece missing out of here is in the solvent baking and doing its things. So we're going to go ahead and call this Elanore project part 1. And when it's through baking and I've cleaned it up, sure, you guys don't need me to show you how to wash a car with a toothbrush. I'll get that car back, and we'll go from there. So be good. Anyhow, talk to you in a bit.